Every day, millions of people over 65 reach for nuts as healthy snacks, but most don't realize that some nuts provide exceptional benefits for aging bodies, while others might not be the best choices for certain health considerations. Understanding which nuts support your specific needs after 65 can make a significant difference in your energy, heart health, and overall well-being. Have you ever stood in the grocery store aisle wondering which nuts are actually worth buying for your health? Maybe you've heard conflicting advice about which nuts are best, or you're unsure whether the nuts you currently enjoy are supporting your health goals as you age. Here's what most people don't realize. After 65, your nutritional needs become more specific, and certain nuts provide concentrated sources of nutrients that become increasingly important for maintaining energy, cognitive function, and overall vitality. Understanding these differences can help you make informed choices that support healthy aging. In the next 20 minutes, I'll explain which nuts provide the most benefits for people over 65 and which ones might be less optimal for various health considerations. I'll also show you how to incorporate the most beneficial nuts into your daily routine for maximum health support. And most importantly, I'll help you understand how to evaluate nuts based on your individual health needs and goals rather than following one-size-fits-all recommendations. But before we start, if you're here because you want to make informed choices about nutrition that support your health as you age, you're about to discover how to choose foods that work best for your individual circumstances. Quick legal note: this is educational content only, not medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider about dietary choices, especially if you have allergies or health conditions. You'll find the complete disclaimer in the description below. Now, let's explore nuts and healthy aging. As we age, our nutritional needs evolve in specific ways that make certain food choices more beneficial than others. Understanding these changes helps explain why some nuts become particularly valuable for people over 65, while others might be less optimal depending on individual health considerations. After 65, several physiological changes affect how your body processes and benefits from different foods. Your metabolism typically slows down, meaning you need fewer total calories but more nutrient-dense foods to meet your nutritional requirements. Your digestive system may become less efficient at absorbing certain nutrients, making bioavailable forms more important. Cardiovascular health becomes an increasing priority, as heart disease remains a leading health concern for this age group. Your body's inflammatory responses may become more pronounced, making anti-inflammatory foods particularly beneficial. Cognitive function and brain health require more targeted nutritional support, and bone health needs specific nutrients to maintain strength and density. These changes mean that the qualities we look for in nuts shift somewhat compared to younger years. The ideal nuts for people over 65 typically provide heart-healthy monounsaturated and omega-3 fatty acids, anti-inflammatory compounds, easily absorbed nutrients, moderate calorie density, and specific vitamins and minerals that support aging bodies. However, it's important to note that individual health conditions, medications, and personal tolerance can significantly affect which nuts are most appropriate for any particular person. Some people may need to limit certain nuts due to interactions with medications, digestive sensitivities, or specific health conditions. The goal isn't to create rigid rules about good and bad nuts, but rather to understand which nuts typically offer the most benefits for common health priorities after 65, while recognizing that individual circumstances vary greatly. Additionally, preparation and portion size become more important considerations. Raw or lightly roasted nuts generally provide more nutritional benefits than heavily processed versions. Portion control becomes more significant as metabolism slows, and some people may find certain nuts easier to digest than others. And here's what making informed nut choices feels like. You develop confidence in your food selections, knowing they're supporting your specific health needs. You may notice improved energy, better satiety from snacks, and the satisfaction of knowing your daily food choices are aligned with your health goals. Understanding these principles helps us evaluate which specific nuts tend to be most beneficial for the majority of people over 65, while recognizing that individual needs and tolerances should always take precedence. Now, let's explore which nuts typically provide the most comprehensive benefits for healthy aging. Based on research into aging, heart health, and cognitive function, three nuts consistently emerge as particularly beneficial for people over 65. These nuts provide concentrated sources of nutrients that address common health priorities in this age group. Walnuts top the list for their exceptional omega-3 fatty acid content, specifically alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. Research shows that adequate omega-3 intake supports cognitive function, reduces inflammation, and may help maintain heart health. For people over 65 who face increased risks of cognitive decline and cardiovascular issues, walnuts provide concentrated nutrition in a small serving. Studies suggest that just 1/4 cup of walnuts daily may provide meaningful health benefits. Almonds provide exceptional vitamin E content, along with magnesium, protein, and healthy monounsaturated fats. Vitamin E becomes increasingly important after 65 for its antioxidant properties and potential cognitive benefits. The magnesium in almonds supports bone health, muscle function, and may help with sleep quality, all important considerations for this age group. Almonds are also among the most easily digested nuts for many people. Pistachios offer a unique combination of nutrients including potassium, which supports heart health and blood pressure management. They also provide lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that accumulate in eye tissue and may support vision health. These three nuts share several beneficial characteristics. They're relatively easy to digest for most people, provide anti-inflammatory compounds, offer heart-healthy fats, and contain nutrients specifically relevant to common health concerns after 65. However, it's crucial to consider individual factors. Some people may have allergies or sensitivities to any of these nuts. Others might need to limit portion sizes due to calorie considerations or digestive comfort. Some individuals taking blood-thinning medications may need to discuss omega-3 rich foods like walnuts with their healthcare providers. The key is finding which of these beneficial nuts work best for your individual circumstances, tolerance, and health goals. Many people find success rotating between all three rather than focusing on just one type. And here's what including these nuts feels like. Many people notice improved satiety from snacks, more stable energy levels, and the confidence that comes from making nutrition choices aligned with healthy aging research. For optimal benefits, aim for small daily portions, about 1 ounce or a small handful, rather than large occasional servings. This provides consistent nutritional benefits while managing calorie intake appropriately for slower metabolisms. But understanding which nuts are most beneficial is only part of the equation. We also need to consider which nuts might be less optimal for certain individuals. While most nuts can be part of a healthy diet, some may be less optimal for certain people over 65 due to specific characteristics that can conflict with common health conditions, medications, or age-related changes in digestion and metabolism. Brazil nuts, while nutritionally dense, contain extremely high levels of selenium. Just 2-3 Brazil nuts can provide more than the daily recommended amount of selenium, and regular consumption of larger amounts could lead to selenium toxicity. For people over 65 who may be taking multiple supplements or have kidney function changes that affect mineral processing, the concentrated selenium content requires careful consideration. Macadamia nuts are very high in calories and fat, providing about 200 calories per ounce, significantly more than most other nuts. While the fats are primarily healthy monounsaturated fats, the high calorie density can be problematic for people with slower metabolisms who need to manage weight. They're also among the most expensive nuts, which may be a practical consideration for people on fixed incomes. Cashews, while nutritious, are technically legumes rather than tree nuts, and they're often heavily processed and salted. They're also relatively high in carbohydrates compared to other nuts and may cause digestive discomfort for some people. The processing methods used for cashews can sometimes introduce additional sodium or oils that may not align with heart-healthy dietary goals. Pine nuts can be expensive and are prone to rancidity. Plus, some people experience a temporary metallic taste condition called pine mouth after consuming them. For people over 65 who may have more sensitive taste perception or limited budgets, these factors make pine nuts less practical choices. It's important to emphasize that these considerations don't make these nuts bad. They simply mean that other options might be more optimal for many people over 65. Individual tolerance, health conditions, budget, and personal preferences should always guide food choices. Some people may tolerate and benefit from any of these nuts in moderation. Others might find them perfectly suitable for their individual circumstances. The goal is awareness of potential considerations rather than rigid avoidance. And here's what making thoughtful nut choices feels like. You develop confidence in selecting foods that work well with your individual health profile and circumstances. You avoid potential digestive discomfort or nutritional imbalances while maximizing the benefits from your food choices. The key principle is choosing nuts that provide maximum nutritional benefit while minimizing potential drawbacks for your specific situation and health goals. Now, let's explore how to incorporate the most beneficial nuts into your daily routine effectively. Before I show you how to incorporate beneficial nuts into your daily routine, here's something for those of you who've watched this far: the portion and preparation principles that can significantly impact how much benefit you actually receive from nuts. Portion size becomes more critical after 65 because metabolism typically slows while nutritional needs for certain vitamins and minerals increase. The optimal approach is smaller, consistent portions rather than large occasional servings. 1 ounce, about a small handful of nuts, provides substantial nutrition while managing calorie intake appropriately. Preparation method significantly affects nutritional value. Raw or dry roasted nuts generally provide more nutritional benefits than nuts roasted in oils or heavily salted versions. The high heat processing can damage some of the beneficial compounds in nuts, while added oils and salt can work against health goals. Storage matters more than many people realize. Nuts contain oils that can become rancid when exposed to heat, light, or air. Storing nuts in airtight containers in cool, dark places helps preserve their nutritional value and prevents the bitter taste of rancidity. Timing of consumption can enhance benefits. Having a small portion of nuts with meals can help slow digestion and improve satiety, while nuts as snacks can help maintain stable blood sugar levels between meals. For people with digestive sensitivities, soaking nuts overnight and lightly toasting them can make them easier to digest while maintaining most of their nutritional benefits. Now, let me show you practical ways to include beneficial nuts in your daily routine. Understanding which nuts are most beneficial is valuable, but successfully incorporating them into your daily routine in ways that support your health goals and lifestyle is what creates lasting benefits. Daily inclusion strategies that work well for many people over 65 include adding chopped walnuts to morning oatmeal or yogurt, which provides omega-3s alongside other nutrients that enhance absorption. A small handful of almonds as an afternoon snack helps bridge the gap between lunch and dinner while providing vitamin E and protein that support sustained energy. Meal integration can make nuts feel like a natural part of eating rather than an added requirement. Chopped pistachios can enhance salads, providing crunch and nutrients while helping with satiety. Ground nuts can be incorporated into smoothies for people who prefer not to chew whole nuts or have dental considerations. Budget-conscious approaches recognize that nuts can be expensive, but buying in bulk, storing properly, and focusing on the most nutritionally dense options can make them more affordable. A small daily portion provides more benefit than larger occasional servings, making the cost per day quite reasonable. For people with specific health conditions, working with healthcare providers to understand how nuts fit into overall dietary plans ensures the best outcomes. Some people taking blood-thinning medications may need to maintain consistent intake of omega-3 rich foods like walnuts. Others managing diabetes might focus on how nuts affect blood sugar stability. Digestive considerations become more important with age. Some people find raw nuts harder to digest and do better with lightly roasted versions. Others benefit from chopping or grinding nuts to make them easier to process. Starting with smaller portions and gradually increasing can help identify optimal amounts for individual tolerance. Variety versus routine is a personal choice. Some people prefer rotating between different beneficial nuts throughout the week, while others find success focusing on one type they particularly enjoy and tolerate well. Both approaches can work effectively. And here's what successful nut integration feels like. Nuts become a natural, enjoyable part of your daily eating rather than a chore or obligation. You notice improved satiety and energy stability, and you develop confidence that your daily food choices are supporting your long-term health goals. The goal is finding an approach that works sustainably with your preferences, budget, health considerations, and lifestyle, rather than following a rigid formula that doesn't fit your individual circumstances. Your approach to including beneficial nuts should enhance your overall eating experience while supporting your health. The most effective approach to including nuts in your diet after 65 is creating a personalized strategy that considers your individual health goals, preferences, budget, and any specific health conditions or medications that might influence your choices. Start by identifying your primary health priorities. If heart health is your main concern, emphasizing walnuts for omega-3s and almonds for vitamin E might be most beneficial. If you're focused on maintaining cognitive function, walnuts and pistachios provide nutrients specifically studied for brain health. For bone health, almonds provide magnesium and vitamin E that support bone density. Consider your current eating patterns and identify the most realistic integration points. If you already eat breakfast regularly, adding nuts to that meal might be easier than trying to establish a new snacking routine. If you prefer snacks, having pre-portioned servings ready makes healthy choices more convenient. Budget planning helps make beneficial nuts sustainable long-term. Buying in bulk when nuts are on sale, storing them properly to prevent waste, and focusing on one or two types rather than trying to include every beneficial variety can make costs more manageable on fixed incomes. Work with your healthcare provider if you have specific health conditions or take medications that might interact with certain nutrients. This is particularly important for people taking blood-thinning medications who need to maintain consistent omega-3 intake, or those with kidney conditions who need to monitor mineral intake. Monitor your response to different nuts and adjust accordingly. Some people find certain nuts more digestible, while others prefer specific flavors or textures. Pay attention to how different nuts affect your energy, digestion, and satiety to optimize your choices. Plan for special circumstances like travel, social events, or changes in routine. Having strategies for maintaining beneficial eating habits during disruptions helps create long-term success rather than temporary improvements. And here's what a successful personal nut strategy feels like. You have confidence in your food choices, knowing they're aligned with your health goals and circumstances. Nuts become a natural, enjoyable part of your routine rather than something you have to remember or force yourself to do. The key is creating an approach that works with your life rather than against it, providing health benefits while remaining practical and sustainable for your individual situation. Remember, the goal is supporting healthy aging through informed food choices that fit your circumstances, preferences, and health needs rather than following rigid rules that don't account for individual differences. Your personalized approach should evolve as your needs and circumstances change. So there you have it, a complete guide to choosing nuts that support healthy aging after 65. Walnuts for omega-3 fatty acids and cognitive support, almonds for vitamin E and heart health, pistachios for potassium and eye health, and awareness of which nuts might be less optimal for certain individual circumstances. Remember, the best nuts for you are the ones that fit your individual health needs, preferences, and circumstances while providing nutrients that support your aging goals. Now, I have a mission for you. To make this practical, write in the comments which beneficial nut you're planning to include more consistently in your routine. Will it be walnuts for brain health, almonds for heart support, or pistachios for their unique nutrients? By sharing your choice, you're taking the first step toward more intentional nutrition. Let's see those plans. And if someone's comment gives you a practical tip for incorporating nuts or shares their own experience, please take a moment to thank them. Building a supportive community makes these healthy changes so much more achievable. Finally, our mission here is to help people make informed nutrition choices that support healthy aging. Every like helps this video reach more people who want to age well through thoughtful food choices. And if you thought of one specific person while watching this, someone who would benefit from understanding how to choose foods that support their individual health needs, share this video directly with them. You could help them make more informed choices about nutrition and aging.